What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pigskins and Pinfalls. I'm Dick Burns here with Bobby Boomerang. We're here to talk everything from the Tuesday Night War to the undefeated teams no more.
That's right, Dick. We're here to talk everything from Tony Khan as a child to this NFL season is wild. As always, every little bit of support helps keep this show running, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, leave your comments down below, but most importantly, leave your expectations at the door. Welcome back, buddy.
That was a good one. I like that one. Thanks for welcoming me back. I'm literally fresh off the plane. I got off of a plane like less than 3 hours ago. I have not slept. First off, I couldn't even tell you the last time I got a full 8 hours of sleep. Vacation took everything out of me, legitimately. And I know, like, it's probably going to suck to put all the content together, but I will say there's going to be some YouTube videos coming real soon. And I don't think people are prepared for the shenanigans that I caused. Vegas, baby.
I'm glad you had a mostly good time. I'm also glad that you did not come back from Vegas married. So
No, that we were reserving that for other people in the group, actually.
good old Vegas. Well,
Good
so yeah,
old Vegas.
we took a little break. It was kind of nice to be able to watch football as a fan, not,
Must have been nice to at least get to watch football. That was the one downside. We, despite all of our powers, nothing in the house that we had football, nor was there football on the convention center floor. So I managed to get into the airport in time to watch the Monday night game last night. That was about it.
I wasn't on vacation, but my sister-in-law came into town. We did some stuff with her, so I wasn't able to really watch too much football myself. So we're just going to take this week kind of easy and light and ramp things back up going into week 8.
Yeah, so we have 2 weeks of stuff that we have to talk about here, and we just kind of put everything together. Like, of course, we've been doing our quick hits, just a couple things that we've been noticing throughout the season so far. We just so many things happened that I know we didn't get it all, but we've got
Correct.
quite a few of the big notes here. Starting off, I mentioned last night. Again, I got the chance to watch that Monday night game. Niners losing to the Vikings. Fun fact, no team has ever lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season and made the Super Bowl.
Bad news for Niners fans,
That's
man.
bad news for Brock Purdy and the 49ers, who are now on a skid.
They are.
Yeah, 2 games in a row now.
After beating us by 30.
Yeah. Everyone was like, yeah, no, that you know what it is. You said you were finally sold on Brock Purdy and shit the bed.
That's literally it, man. That's literally it.
You reverse psychology that shit. What the hell?
Look what I did to DJ Moore a few weeks ago. But yes, as you mentioned, that means that Brock Purdy has finally suffered his first regular season loss. I believe he won his first 11 games as a starter in the regular season. Hell of a start to a career. But speaking of quarterbacks, we've talked about Josh Dobbs being a rocket scientist on here before. I have recently learned that his nickname in the Cardinals locker room is Pastronaut.
That's a fucking awesome nickname.
That is a great name. Imagine being so good at life that you can play in the NFL and be a rocket scientist, man. That's great.
I know, right? I mean, technically, you gotta have some like rocket skills to have a rocket arm and throw some rocket passes. So
That's fair.
I'm sure there's a lot of overlap there. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap. Yeah, we're starting off with all the joke ones. Let's take a serious one. Broncos safety Kareem Jackson suspended 4 games following an ejection from a big hit on Sunday on Packers tight end Luke Musgrave. He was also ejected back in week 2 for a hit on Logan Thomas, and he was also fined after a hit in week 1. This is a little bit of a surprise, if you ask me, because imagine a referee calling anything after the past few weeks.
Officiating hasn't been great.
Officiating has been terrible the past 2 weeks.
Yeah. I'll touch more on that when I do my power rankings. But I know you were saying that in jest, but Kareem Jackson is quickly making a case for himself as the dirtiest player in the league.
Next in Ndamukong Suh.
He's out of the league, isn't he?
So the next.
Oh, the next. I thought you said next to. Okay. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave was arrested last night for reckless driving, allegedly going 70 and a 30. Obviously, every state is different when it comes to these types of rules and laws. I know that in Virginia, if you are caught doubling the speed limit, the charge is called intent to kill. So, don't know what that means down there in Louisiana, but not good.
Yeah, as somebody that grew up on backcountry roads where people would regularly go 70 and a 30, there's a reason why you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah.
This was just a bonehead move.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Eagles been busy.
Yeah.
Eagles have been busy. I don't know how I feel about this. They go out, they signed Julio Jones. They lose their first game in franchise history to the Jets. Then they turn around, put it all back together this week with a statement win, and then turn around and also sign trade for Kevin Byard. What was that?
Why do the Titans pick up Howie Roseman's calls? He fleeces them. Every time.
I don't get it. Hang on. I want to see. I want to see what was the. It was Terrell Edmonds, and then a 2024 fifth and sixth round selection to the Titans for Kevin Byard.
Pro Bowl safety.
For a two-time Pro Bowl safety. Two-time, right?
I believe so.
Two-time.
And we make all the jokes about the Eagles being the Philadelphia Bulldogs because they get all these Georgia players. They're making a run for being the Philadelphia Titans, man, because they got A.J. Brown, they got Kevin Byard, and let's not forget, Julio spent time in Tennessee as well.
That doesn't really count.
Just throwing it out there.
That's where Julio went for his career to die.
Looking at you, DeAndre Hopkins.
Looking at you, Tennessee in general.
Yeah. But
hey, speaking of wide receivers though, can we talk about Jerry Jeudy getting completely worked over by Steve Smith? I'm sorry. I need to go. I feel like I need to go run to my room and grab my Steve Smith jersey for this one because I want to find this quote. I want to find this quote directly. I'm going to read this quote verbatim.
Jerry Jeudy just got absolutely bodied by Steve Smith.
Just got him.
So, Steve Smith claimed that him and Jerry Jeudy had a pregame confrontation that stemmed from a comment the retired wide receiver made about Jerry Jeudy on his podcast. Quote, "On my podcast, I talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in a way. Word that I've used to describe him in the past was JAG, just a guy. I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, hey, I know I've said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry." That's what I wanted to say to him. His response was, brackets, racial slur, "I don't mess with you." And it was a curse word. So I was like, all right. And then he repeated it.
Oh, I got it here. I'm sorry. Oh, you gonna do it?
No. That's your boy.
All right. I'm gonna take this one then. I'm sorry I said you were a jag. Just a guy who was an average wide receiver they used a first round pick on that isn't doing anything. I hope today you actually showed up in a way that you haven't shown up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you are an average wide receiver that they will eventually move on from. When teams call me to ask if they should trade for you, I will say no. Don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he is mentally unable to handle constructive criticism, who watch specifically if you can be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Hit him. Hit him where it hurts.
Tier 3.
So, as it turns out, I hadn't read about this yet. Jerry Jeudy did respond to reporters. Just going to go ahead and clear the air. This is my last time talking about it. If he came to apologize to me, I would have understood that, and I would have listened to what he had to say. Where I'm from, if someone talks bad about you, you don't go to them in person and try to act friendly to them like you ain't just talk bad about them. I don't got no hate towards Steve Smith. You know, he's a good player and all the stuff like that. I just stand on what I stand on. If you feel some type of way, keep that same energy when you see me in person. I don't got nothing against him or anything. That's just how I feel. That's just what it is. If I would have known he would have apologized, of course I would have reacted different. At the same time, I know someone's talking bad about me, and I told him it is what it is, and I moved on from there. He wanted to take it to the media and stuff and make it bigger than what it needed to be. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, Steve Smith can say whatever he wants because he's not in the league. He's a reporter now. Jerry Jeudy has to kind of be careful with what he says because the NFL can fine you for wearing the wrong socks to a football game. So,
and at the same time, like, we still talking the inevitable gold jacket of Steve Smith.
Correct.
Like, that's somebody you want, whose word you should be listening to regardless.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry Jeudy hasn't been great, man. He's only had 17 catches for 208 yards this season.
Jerry Jeudy has been one of the biggest letdowns in fantasy football since he got drafted.
I know. I have him.
I had him last year. I know too. And you know, if I remember correctly, I since I never did edit the draft down like I said I was going to, I'm pretty sure during the draft I remember having to look at Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton being side by side in the rankings all the time and having to consistently pick between the two. And almost every time I was picking Courtland Sutton. Who has Courtland Sutton this year? This guy. Who's been the one most productive receiver for the entire Denver Broncos? Courtland Sutton. With Marvin Mims as your second.
Yeah, I think I've started Jerry Jeudy in one game this year. And he was my second wide receiver taken.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jeudy had already been on my do not draft list. And I think this is just adding to the comfort on that one.
Those are kind of the big ones from the last couple of, obviously, you know, like you said, we know we missed some stuff, guys. It was vacation.
It was vacation week. Period. Sorry, we fucking needed it. I know, I don't know about you, but I definitely needed it.
No, it was nice. It was definitely nice, and I know that you not only did you need it, you deserved it. So
well, thank you. That being said, because I didn't get the chance to watch any football, I'm going to turn everything over to you for our power rankings this week. I did not want to comfortably make a power rankings, considering I barely got to see any football. Like, I haven't even gotten a chance to really look at a lot of the highlights yet. I'm still trying to catch up with everything I missed. So I'm going to let you take it away.
So, at number 10, I have the Buffalo Bills. They lost to Jacksonville in London 2 weeks ago. They lost this past week. They're now sitting at 4-3. I don't really know what's going on outside of it comes back to what you have been saying for months, that their window is closed.
The window is closed.
They're still a good team. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you're going to be having a top 10 pick in Buffalo anytime soon. But I also don't think you're going to be having a 32nd overall pick either, because the only way to get the 32nd overall pick is to win the Super Bowl.
I also want to point out that this week was also the breaking of the streak. Stephon Diggs was on, I think, a streak of like 5 straight games with 100 yards. Broke that streak this week. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed by that, and I think it's starting to show now that window is it's rapidly closing.
Number 9, I have the Detroit Lions. They're playing very, very well. Amon-Ra St. Brown caught a back body drop in his game this week. I know, since you said you haven't seen the highlights yet, they threw like a bubble screen to him, and I don't know what player it was, but they kind of like lifted him up, and he somehow got on his back, and the dude literally did a Samoan drop with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Hilarious to watch as a wrestling fan, but as a human, like, it looked painful. But no, the Lions are playing really well. You know, even with David Montgomery being hurt, they have Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm pretty sold on the Lions taking the North.
Oh yeah.
I don't see anybody.
I don't know. The Vikings continue to start showing up.
Yeah, well, first of all, how Kirk Cousins got to win in a primetime game.
You know, that was literally my thought process. Was just like, I thought it was prime time. He shouldn't have won.
Yeah, and it was a 49, whatever. Number 8, I have the Browns.
Not mad
Balling
at it.
out, man.
Not mad at it.
That Browns Colts game this past weekend. Go watch. Do yourself a favor and watch those highlights because that game was so fucking entertaining.
I kept seeing. I think it was Katie putting in the chat about it, and was just talking about how good it was. I think she's the only one that actually used the chat while we're watching the game. Everybody else is too busy actually watching the games.
Watching the game.
Shots fired.
Anyway, they knocked off San Francisco, followed with PJ Walker. Keep in mind.
Not complaining. Not complaining. Where did PJ Walker come from? Where'd he come from?
Yeah, he was with y'all last year. Number 7, I have the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
I've said on this show before, I love their defense. They swarm to the ball. They play very good team football. And Lamar is Lamar. I don't know how many times we can say that on this show, but
Lamar do Lamar things.
Lamar do in fact be Lamar. Number 6, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Climbing and climbing. Starting to put it together.
I actually almost put the Jags at number 5, but loyalty bias would not allow me. That's foreshadowing to who's sitting at 5. But Jacksonville beat Buffalo in London, their second home. And they're playing good football. Trevor Lawrence is good. Travis Etienne, if you have him in fantasy, you're fucking happy.
I wonder who has him.
That's why I said that. Moving on. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys. We followed up an absolute embarrassment of a loss to the 49ers by winning a close game against the Chargers. The reason it was a close game is we won in spite of ourselves. I don't know why Mike McCarthy calls the plays that he calls. I don't know why our offensive line is Swiss cheese. But Dak Prescott, he made it happen. And one more thing before I continue. Micah Parsons has gone on record saying he's tired of all of the hate that Dak Prescott gets when there's other quarterbacks out there that have worse games than Dak Prescott, such as Jalen Hurts, who has 7 touchdown passes but 7 interceptions, whereas Dak has only thrown 4 interceptions all season, 3 of which came against the 49ers in just a sloppy-ass game. But a lot of the quarterbacks that their play, if they played in Dallas, would be a lot more scrutinized. People make excuses for Brock Purdy, for Josh Allen, but then when Dak Prescott throws 1 interception, it's the end of the fucking world. So good on Micah Parsons for calling out the double standards that face the Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks. Could not put us any higher because we had a bye week, but good teams find ways to win close games. Obviously, we went against Kellen Moore, who was with the Cowboys for a long time, so I think that kind of factored into some of the things that happened, and glad we got a win. Hopefully we can continue that this week against the Rams. Number 4, and honestly, I kind of wanted to put a tie at 5 for all of these teams I'm about to say, except for number 1, because 2, 3, and 4, I feel you could be interchangeable. At 4, I have the 49ers. I am no longer sold on Brock Purdy because they have not played well the last 2 weeks. You lost to Kirk Cousins in Minnesota in prime time, which is fucking pathetic. Number 3, I have the Dolphins. The Dolphins just lost to the Eagles, but the Dolphins really lost to the refs in that game. If you go back and watch, the Eagles had zero penalties called on them Sunday night. Now, I'm not telling you that because they played a great game and didn't commit them. I'm calling and saying that penalties were not called on them. It has recently come out that the referee of that game has been suspended before.
I saw that too. He has been suspended for improper refereeing.
And he grew up 60 miles from the Eagles Stadium.
That's coincidence, though. Anyways.
It might be. I agree with you. I'm not some big fucking conspiracy theory, but officiating game was horrible in that game. Number 2, I have the Eagles. Not really sold on them, but they've only got 1 loss. It's pretty much the only reason I have them above the Dolphins and Niners. They did beat the Dolphins, but I'm still not sold on the Eagles being great. They got a tough stretch of games coming up. They play Dallas twice, they play San Francisco, and they play Buffalo. Let's see what they're really made of. And at number 1, I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Because by the power of Taylor Swift, anything is possible.
Correct. The Chiefs are playing very well. Travis Kelce is incredible. In one of my leagues, somebody drafted Travis Kelce number 1 overall. We all made fun of him, and now he's leading that fantasy league. So
I'm struggling because it feels like out of all those teams you said, there's one missing. I feel like there's somebody that we've been regularly saying has been in that top 10 fight that has dropped off on your list, and I'm literally staring at like the games that we have coming up because there's no buys this week, and I'm shocked that that's how the top 10s are falling now. Like
the Bills had a fall from grace. We had the Bills at number 2 a few weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah.
Seahawks would probably be my number 11.
Yeah, I think that's a solid call. Seahawks for 11.
Seahawks would probably be number 11. And then, I mean, it's kind of a hard.
And after that, it's a huge jumble. Yeah. All those 3 and 4s and 4 and 3s and 3 and 3s, like.
And speaking of the curse of Bobby this fucking season, in my top 15 would be the Cincinnati Bengals, who 3 weeks ago I said it's time to hit the panic button on. So I don't fucking know anything.
We definitely did say it was time to panic on the Broncos and
not the Broncos, the Bengals.
Bengals, yeah.
Broncos have been on the panic button.
Broncos don't know what they're not even panicking. They know that they're trash.
Yeah, but it's I don't know shit, so don't listen to anything I say.
That's fair. So we'll take your top 10 with a grain of salt, but it's okay. At least you did one. At least you have to watch football and you actually did one.
Like I said, man, I think I have the correct top 10. I just think order could be debated.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely a couple of those I was sitting here thinking in my head. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but you know what? I can't make a fair call. Let's talk dick pics.
Yeah.
So,
good dick pic.
Kyren Williams goes out on IR. This week we saw a combination of Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman getting most of the runs. Freeman is now being rostered in 20.2% of leagues, which is up 20.2%. Kyren Williams is going to be out at least 3 more weeks with him on IR. So both of them, because Darrell Henderson's only rostered in 12% of leagues as well, and Darrell Henderson was playing the RB1 role of that game. So both of those strong pickups. Oh, look, more Rams offensive players we're saying to pick up.
Shouldn't have got rid of Cam Akers.
Look it.
When I'm wrong, okay? I was wrong.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about how he played for the Vikings last night.
He did play for the Vikings last night.
Yeah, and he actually didn't do half bad.
No, he didn't. So maybe me being high on Cam Akers was right all along. He just needed a change of scenery.
Hey, that's what CMC did last year.
Well, CMC was CMC. You can't compare Cam Akers to CMC. That's a
very fair point. It's a very fair point. No, I agree with you 100%.
You are way too tired. You are not thinking straight.
No, I am not.
If you are in the market, if you are somebody who streams quarterbacks, if you're not somebody who's got, the Josh Allens, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and you're looking for, possibly a pickup this week, no one's on a bye, so maybe not as high up on our dick pick list, but I'm a fan of Bears quarterback Tyson Bagent. He's only rostered in 1.8% of leagues, and he is facing the Chargers, who have allowed the most points to quarterbacks so far this season. If you don't know who he is, he broke the NCAA record for most passing touchdowns in a career. Yes, it was a Division II school, but he still threw 159 passing touchdowns in his collegiate career out of Shepherd University. Shout out to Shepherd. I went on a college visit there. Ultimately did not go to your school, probably for the best. But I like him this week.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm as somebody that drafted Justin Fields and Brock Purdy, not a good week for me. Not a good week for me at the quarterback position. I'm not saying I would immediately jump on Baggin, but I can see the appeal. I think he did look pretty good in that game this week. He's definitely not like a Justin Fields answer, but
You're streaming a quarterback this week,
if you want somebody that's up against a weak defense, there's your option. And then Browns running back Pierre Strong Jr. is currently only rostered in 0.4% of leagues. He's going to likely get more touches the longer that Jerome Ford takes to recover from his ankle injury. You got to think this is a team that's already lost Nick Chubb. Now they're losing Jerome Ford. Kareem Hunt came back, and he's now their RB1, which is insane to think about.
It is.
I think at that point, especially when it comes to Kareem, I think age is going to play a factor, and he's going to get less of the touches. I think this is a good opportunity for Strong to really show what he's got. Yeah, show what he's got. That being said, also Kareem Hunt is also only rostered in 46.3% of leagues, so that's under the 50% threshold. We can recommend that as well. But again, I've got a strong feeling about Strong. That was an unintentional pun. Yeah, no. Like that was like I said Strong, and I was like, wait, his name is Strong. I'm too tired. Like I wasn't ready for it to like do like a rim shot or anything.
Moving on to wrestling.
Yeah.
News on him. While we were gone,
I want to point out as well. So while I was at the con, I was there for the pro wrestling content creator panel, and tell me why for like the first 5-10 minutes before the conference even gets started, it's just an entire room of wrestling fans just repeatedly going, yeah.
I love that.
It was pretty bad. No, you would really love that when I stood up to ask my question, I look at the entire panel and I just go, so what do you guys want to talk about? I'm proud of that one. Stacey just looks at me. He's just like, how long do you have that one in the chamber? I was like, oh, about half the show.
So,
shout out Sandy's app.
While we were gone, there was a war.
Yep.
A Tuesday night war of epic proportions.
We were
NXT versus AEW.
I mean, we discussed the cards on the last episode before we left. So, yeah, it was. I want to say it was good. It was a damn good episode of NXT. I'm not gonna lie. They did an amazing. Like now that I'm sitting here thinking back at it, that episode of NXT was pretty baller. Not gonna lie. Cody coming out because they made a whole big deal. Cody's gonna make an announcement. No, Cody had like 7 or 8 announcements. Cody was sitting here doing shit left and right. It was special guest manager, special guest GM for a night, and was busy. And when I know we were talking about how they were gonna stack the card, it just with as many main roster faces show up on one show, even more than what was announced. Like they're really starting to put more.
Stock.
Yeah, more stock into NXT being the third brand.
And it showed. NXT won the ratings war by over 300,000 viewers.
So I want to point this out as well, because when that was talked about, like, yeah, and we'll get into all the repercussions from that as well. I said this during that last episode as well. WWE was going for moments, whereas AEW was going for the matches. Yeah, we want to see the matches, but those matches were not must-see. And that's why they lost that ratings war.
I agree with that. But also, Tony Khan is just, like I said in my intro, bro, he's a fucking child.
He's losing it. He is very much losing it.
He came out and he referred to Triple H and HBK as bald assholes.
Complained
Sounds
that neither Cena nor Undertaker were enough.
the exact tweet, right? This week, two active decades-long rating streaks from two great legends were ended. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor Undertaker had ever been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers and under 400K in the demo. Um, Focus on your own product. Don't tell us why we shouldn't be watching theirs. Tell us why we should be watching yours.
I can remember a
Reportedly,
very famous incident of Mike Tenay telling everybody why we shouldn't watch Raw because Mick Foley was about to win the championship for the first time ever, and it was pre-taped and was already being spoiled. And I remember it being the impetus for a lot of people to change the channel. This is We've seen this from history. You are
yeah,
shooting yourself in the foot, Tony. What the fuck? Chill the fuck out.
yeah, I agree.
Also,
And
getting to be around the IWC this weekend, literally the room calling themselves the IWC, which was a weird feeling in itself, and
yeah,
hearing so many people agree that right now everyone is just fed up with TK, like
he's a giant.
not a good look, my friends, not a good
No,
look.
no, and reportedly several people in AEW were quote surprised by this tweet. No shit,
Yeah.
like no shit, they were surprised. Like, I think somebody like tweeted him and was like, what would you say if like Vince McMahon came out and was tweeting like this, and like Tony Khan completely fucking deflected it and was like, this would be the least bad thing that Vince McMahon has ever done in a long list of bad things that Vince McMahon has done. Like, bro, focus on your shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Like you ain't got to worry about everybody else's shit. Like to worry about everybody else's shit is a sign of insecurity.
and I just, bro, a big reason I'm just not high on AEW the way I used to be is Tony Khan.
It has definitely killed a lot of the momentum.
Yes.
Will things change over the next couple months? Who knows?
No.
With Adam Copeland getting more involved, maybe. Who knows? We'll see.
But like even now, Tony Khan's sitting there like, I've got this dream match, and then he announces fucking Bryan Danielson versus Andrade. No one's dreaming of that match.
Pretty
Probably
sure
a
they
good
wrestled
one.
each other a couple times in the E. So
Like, and it's probably going to be a good match. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm not sitting here on my platform of Pigskin and Pinfalls clamoring for D-Bry and Andrade.
yeah, I could agree. Um, I just I feel like that's the problem. Again, this has been the big problem with AEW is that they put so much effort into first time matchup, dream matchup, this, that, and the other that they don't build to them enough and they don't build the story enough for us to care.
And people talk a lot about WWE and their moments. AEW is spots.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
at the same
same thing.
time, those moments in WWE are what's drawing. And this was a perfect example. A John Cena appearance, an Asuka match, an appearance from LA Knight, an appearance from The Undertaker,
Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes being all over the show, obviously the Judgment Day showing up. Like they base and this is exactly what people were saying is like WWE when it walked in there with the mindset of look what I can do, and
Right.
it in all fairness, look what they can do.
Exactly. Yeah. And another issue, I didn't include this in the notes because I wanted to get your general reaction. Jeff Jarrett has had more matches this year in AEW than the following names:
This is about to hurt.
Kenny Omega,
He's been hurt.
MJF, Bryan Danielson, and one other name that I'm blanking on. The other thing, like, you're going to sit here and try and shit all over WWE. Half your fucking roster came from them.
Yeah, pretty much. And a lot of those guys are people that left on good terms. It's not even like the
Right.
people that left on bad terms. It's a lot of people that left on really good terms.
Right. So get your nose out of the pile and grow up, TK.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of growing up, we had a little bit of a management change in the
We did.
WWE,
We
at least
did.
for the on-screen. Not gonna lie, we've all technically been screaming about they really need to figure out what Adam Pearce's character is,
Yes.
and they've now officially made him general manager of
Raw.
Raw.
Right.
I was trying to think of how I wanted to phrase it. And in turn, SmackDown got their own general manager in the form of. I was going to let you
Call
take it.
this.
Nick Aldis. The man has finally stepped in front of the cameras, and honestly, not going to lie, the for one, him not having music when he comes out, neither of them having music when they come out.
Yeah.
A little weird. Two, from the moment he first walked on screen, I watched the full clip and everything. Immediately had the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that he still knows how to work the mic, knows how to work the crowd.
Sure.
Will we ever see him back in a ring? I don't know.
I don't know.
He's only a year older than me, so
He could.
he very much could. I just I like the idea of him being in this authority figure position though. Like if he really is like calling time for right now, maybe even if it's just he's letting his body heal or whatever, but like I'd be down. I'm totally down for this. I think that
Agree.
it's really I think it's really entertaining. He's been entertaining so far. And then even on Raw last night, they had him on screen trying to poach Caden Carter and Katana Chance away from Raw. Like that's something that we have not seen in a lot, in a long ass time,
Yeah.
with general managers actually courting people and trying to get them to sway. That's a function in like universe mode when you're like doing all your own like
Yeah.
create a leagues, but we haven't actually seen that happen on television. I think somebody pointed out since the days of Bischoff and Stephanie.
Yeah. Wow. It's
Yeah,
20 years.
since the very like early days of the draft.
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah.
And now is the perfect time to do that with Survivor Series coming up. I know we're probably not going to have Raw versus SmackDown per se, but having your SmackDown GM try to poach people from Raw is a good way to make that feel a little bit more meaningful.
I have a proposal here. Still have like you're still gonna have your traditional Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown. Don't make it all about champion versus champion like they always try to do. Although in a way you could, but like
Seth versus Roman.
it'd be Seth versus Roman, it'd be Gunther versus Ray at this point. Uh,
Logan Paul's taking that championship.
Logan Paul versus Gunther. Ooh.
Chop the fuck out of that man.
Okay. Io versus Rhea. So I feel like if they went the title versus title route, yes, you could still get some good shit. But if they still want to do your traditional Survivor Series match, I want to see like 2019. I want to see NXT in that mix.
Agreed.
I want to see that, like, especially like they're saying they're trying to really build NXT to be its own. Like I think it would be great.
Yeah. Speaking of titles versus titles, there's rumors going around that they have now seen new rebranded titles for the tag team championship. So the splits of those belts could be coming.
It's about time. I honestly, it's overdue.
It was valuable for the story at the time. Now that it's no longer on the bloodline and the bloodline is no longer all one cohesive unit, it is time.
We forgot to mention that Aldis had one other major first order of business.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, we almost forgot about that. And that was him making the announcement of the official draft pick, which surprisingly did have quite a few ramifications.
Yes, it has.
Kevin Owens, the newest member of SmackDown.
Because remember, Cody Rhodes pulled those strings to get Jey Uso on Raw, and Raw was going to have to send somebody back to SmackDown eventually.
Of course.
And it's KO.
And here's the thing. You're splitting up Sami and KO. You're probably giving both of them time to heal.
But I don't hate that. Because what I would have hated would have been another split angle between the two of them.
I can agree. But I don't know how you're sending KO over to SmackDown. You're putting KO back in that title picture with you're basically setting up another Roman Kevin. Do we really need another Roman KO? We've had plenty of them enough already.
They got to fill something to get us to Mania when Roman drops those belts, man. And KO and Roman have good matches together, so.
Yeah, I just feel like it felt like you needed to do it for the story. And I get the whole he was the one that said you realize you're screwing somebody with this, and he even preempted that it was probably going to screw him. And I get that they can pull some stories out of that, but it's just how do they? KO deserves to be in a title picture right now.
Agreed.
He deserves to be in a title picture, but the only way to do that is to put him in the title picture with Roman until he drops that belt to whomever it may be. So it's just how I'm worried they may have backed themselves into a corner with KO.
It is possible. It is possible.
All right, let's go leftovers.
Get your plate. It's time for the leftovers.
Yes, sir. So, Bound for Glory was this past weekend. And at the end of the show, they showed their graphic for, I believe it was Hard to Kill, the next pay-per-view. And they revealed that the name is being changed back to Total Nonstop Action.
Cool.
How do you feel about it?
I don't really care.
See, I've had a lot of people, a lot of what I was seeing online is positive praise for this.
Yeah, I mean,
how many of us have still been calling it TNA anyways?
Correct. And nostalgia is one of the greatest drugs in the world, so why not?
Yeah, I could agree with that. And legitimately, okay, let me pose this idea as well. Do they bring back the 6-sided ring?
Maybe eventually. I don't think they're going to do it all at once.
That's fair. That's a fair argument.
I'm more excited about the fact that TNA announced that Simon Miller is going to be on their upcoming show against Joe Hendry.
Yeah, that actually is pretty awesome. Also, awesome. Another one I forgot to put in the notes, but we'll just go ahead and slide it in here. Grizzled Young Veterans, officially free agents. And where are they popping up for their first title match? Right here in town for Deadlock.
Really?
Them versus the Workhorsemen for the DPW tag titles next month. I already said I wanted to go to that show. Now I'm even more inclined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you there. You saw the Nemeth brothers have reunited, right?
Officially? Oh yes, they, on a comedy tour.
Hunkamania. So, but yeah, the NFL is encouraging current players to compete in the Olympics. Why? Because flag football is going to be an Olympic sport in 2028 in LA.
I like it.
I love it. Have you seen the memes that have come out of this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jamar Chase running a go route on a Bulgarian school teacher.
I remember seeing that one. I think you might have actually shared that one.
First of all, if the United States does not win the flag football tournament, flag football gold in 2028, we should be ashamed of ourselves.
In our sport, what are we doing?
Right. We already call Super Bowl winners world champions. Prove it.
Agreed. All right. And then our final piece of news here. WWE Hall of Fame award Warrior Award recipient Rich Herring most famously served as the officiant for Macho Man and Elizabeth's wedding at SummerSlam '91. Quietly retires from the company after 50 years of service.
Good God, dude.
50 years. The TKO merger may have been a contributing factor. However, he did choose to retire on his own accord despite being well loved backstage. Most recently had been serving as the Senior Vice President of Government Relations and Risk Management. I'm sorry, if you have been working for a company for 50 years and you are in charge of risk management in a business full of risk management, you're fucking goated. You're fucking goated, my dude. Hell of a career.
Yeah.
Hell of a career. We salute you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right off into the sunset, Mr. Herring.
Had a great run.
Yep.
All right. And with that, let's go to our picks. So we didn't even put in picks last week. That's how tuned out we were. I was just like, man, I don't even have the energy to do this. I'm on vacation. It's whatever. So going back to how we did on week 6.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of red.
Yeah. I got a lot of the ones that I remember. All those ones that were we were split on. That's like go either way. Got all of them. So I caught up a little bit. I'm only back 3 now. I have a chance. I am within striking distance. And we were talking about this earlier. We're kind of glad we didn't do picks last week because everybody getting upset was just that just won't it.
Yeah.
All right. Thursday night, Bucks at Bills. Who you got? Bills?
I know they're sliding, but
I agree. There needs to be a bounce back at some point.
Right.
Texans at Panthers.
Are you going to take your home team finally?
Is it weird to say that I think that we might win this? I think that we have a shot.
I think you have a shot. I'm going Texans, but it's a winnable game for you guys for sure.
I don't know. We've been really high on their defense lately.
It could also be one of the sloppiest games of the season.
It's also very true. It's very true. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Us to finally get our first win.
Okay.
All right. I don't even need to know your answer here. I don't know.
Although I will say I am slightly concerned.
Yeah, I'm concerned mostly because of injury concerns. That's my only thing.
If we had Trevon Diggs, and it was Trevon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore and Deron Bland blocking up Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Atwell, I'd feel much, much better. But I still think we find a way to win this game.
Give me the Rams.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I think that both teams have just the right amount of injuries. Like you said yourself, you can't stop that pass game right now. I think that inevitably ends up becoming the crux.
We are coming off of a bye week, though. Well rested.
Shit, that's also true. Give me the Cowboys.
You already moved on. You're locked into the Rams.
All right,
No,
all right.
I'm kidding.
Nah. Fuck it.
All right.
What do we care?
All right.
What do we care? We put 20 on the entire season. It's not like it's that big a deal.
That's true.
Vikings at Packers, NFC North showdown.
It's an early game. Give me Kirk Cousins early. Because, again, I said it from the beginning. I'm not sold on Jordan Love, and he is crumbling.
Yeah, I have to agree. Vikings are getting hot at the right time. Also, can we point out, no Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison stepping the fuck up.
Yes, he is.
Stepping up. Let's go. Saints at Colts.
This is a good game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I'm going to get this. I'm going to take the Saints.
I'll take the Colts.
All right. Patriots at Dolphins.
Oh, one thing we did forget to comment on, Bill Belichick did get his 300th career win. Congrats to him.
Congrats to him, but still.
Like him. I agree.
Yeah. The New Jersey Bowl, Jets at Giants.
Yes.
Jets. I love how fun
Aaron Rodgers still says he's coming back in a few weeks, man. He's
The sad part is they really are, like, the Jets are somehow, like, if they can hang in this as long as they have been, he really could come back and make a run.
Yeah.
It could still happen.
Is going for a Super Cena-like return.
I mean, that's the healing power of ayahuasca, I guess.
Hey.
Jags at Steelers.
Steelers defense is the entire AFC North defense, all four teams' defense is incredible, but I'm going to take the Jags.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jags too. They're heating up at the right time.
If the Steelers win this game, it could crack our top 10 next week.
You're not wrong. Falcons at Titans.
Falcons. Tennessee is a dumpster fire.
The real tank bowl right now. Eagles at Commanders. Eagles.
Tie.
I'm
not calling that. I don't want to pick either team, but give me the Eagles. Even though I want the Commanders to win that game, which you'll never hear me say again until the next time they play each other.
All right, Battle of 4 and 2s. Browns and Seahawks. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, wait a minute. That's actually a solid game.
Winner of this game will be in our top 10 next week.
Guaranteed.
Give me Seattle at home. Yeah.
Yeah, we both said
Seattle. But I'm not confident in that.
I will say you just pointed out a really good factor to it. It's Seattle at home. The 12th man. The 12th man is always loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Ravens at Cardinals. The Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals.
I'll take the purple bird over the red bird.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the purple bird too. Quote that, Raven.
Fall of Usher House, incredible show on Netflix. If you haven't watched it yet,
I need to watch it.
Based off Edgar Allan Poe poem.
Yeah,
how it ties in there.
Chiefs at Broncos. Chiefs.
We had the Chiefs by 15.
I actually put that too.
I see.
Yeah. Bengals at Niners. Are you thinking it?
I am.
Are you really?
I am.
You think this is just meltdown mode now?
It might be. And the Bengals are getting hot.
I'm still taking the 49ers here. I'm sorry.
I'll take Cincy. I'll
take
Cincy.
I'm taking. Don't get me wrong. You're entirely right. It could go either way. Bears at Chargers. Two win teams playing in prime time.
What a treat! What a treat for Sunday night football.
We may not even have Justin Fields for this.
All right, give me the Chargers.
Yeah. The Chargers should not be a 2-win team right now.
No,
they deserve more. And then our Monday night game, Raiders at Lions. Give me the Lions.
Yeah.
There's our picks. Hopefully, those go according to plan. But meanwhile, Bobby, I'm tired.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with all the other coverage. We might, I believe next week we have to do Crown Jewel predictions. I could be wrong.
I think so.
I think so. Oh, well, until then, for Bobby Boomerang, I'm Dick Burns. I'm pretty fucking tired. We'll see you guys next week.